think documenting your life is a very interesting way to see how you grew as a person over time. But I don't mean documenting your life in terms of YouTube videos or photos or anything like that. Obviously, you can do it in those ways, but what I'm talking about is a private way of documenting your life so that only you see it. Um, so, to make it clearer, what I do is every November 1st, which is today, if you're watching it when it comes out, I record a video to myself, um, basically summarising my life that year, my goals for next year, what I've done, responding to last year's, how I've changed, new things in my life, events, problems I've faced, how I overcome them, basically everything. And what I find is every year it's getting longer and longer. The first year was only 4 minutes. Um, the second year, which is last year, I think it was 13 minutes. The one I just did now is literally 20 minutes. I'm getting more and more depth and more open with myself. But I think it's a really interesting way to document your life because you don't realize how much you change in a year. It's like that analogy of lifting up a carpet and or no, lifting up a sofa and don't see how the color of the original carpet anymore. You only like if you lift it up, you'll see the original color, but everything else is not the original color. It's a lot darker and filthier, and I think that's a great analogy for these kind of videos because obviously, as over time, you don't notice the color of the rug changing, the color of the carpet changing, and as you go over time, you don't notice yourself changing, which I think obviously is the main thing in your life. It's literally you, and you basically are responsible for everything in your life. You are the cause for everything in your life, or responsible, or react to it. You don't notice how things like your mindset and your goals and your way of thinking changes. I think it's very easy to get stuck up on appearances, especially when looking at your past self. But you have no idea what or how you'll be thinking in a year's time. That's why I find the question of where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? I think that's almost impossible to ask because you can say, oh, I mean, if you have like a very linear kind of life path and it's already planned out for you, say, oh, I'll still be working at this job or I'll still be doing this thing. You can quite confidently predict that, but if your life is constantly changing, I don't think there's any way that you'll be able to predict your future thoughts, your future mindset, your future philosophical ideas, uh, just all those kind of things. I think it's really impossible to capture that, especially in a photo or even text. I mean, I think gratitude journaling and journaling itself is a great way to appreciate things around you and also see uh, what you've been thinking and what you appreciate that moment in life. But I think these videos are really a good chance to open up because you can see not only your mindset, not only your appearances, but also your way of talking, your presence itself, like how that's changed, and the things you can't see, you can explain. You can say, "Oh, this time, like in January of the year, I faced this, and that really had an effect on me. I struggled with that, but the way I overcame it was by doing this." Um, so I really found that series is very helpful to me, and I don't intend everyone to ever see it. I don't think I'm going to do a Marcus Aurelius and it get released to the entire globe. My private thoughts, but I just like doing it to myself, just my own self satisfaction of seeing how I change and how I can develop every year. And I think I can't wait. I know I just said I can't imagine seeing myself in 5 years, but I think it'd be really cool in 5 years if I was still doing this to see how I've progressed. And I'm like, oh, that's how I ended up there. You can see the steps over the years of how my mindset changed and where my ambitions took me. So yeah, I'd recommend starting a kind of a series of that. Maybe just on your, I did on my phone, just add it to an album or a folder on your phone, and the camera roll, go in a gallery, photos, whatever, and just record yourself talking about what's happened this year, or you could do it every 6 months. Just what's happened, how you feel, what you want to happen, basically summarizing everything in that time frame that's happened. I just think that's a really, what I found, I didn't see this anywhere. I kind of came up with it myself. Obviously, it's not a groundbreaking idea, but I've personally found that it's really, at the very least, interesting, and at the very most, really insightful, detailed analysis of how people change over time.